it was, but probably
Yeah,
after Ramadan.
he's away for a few weeks.
Yeah, we didn't really like him. We got feedback that he wasn't great, and people wanted me on the main mic. So they said, come on.
I'm glad you got there then. But bearing in mind, Ishfaq Ali has said, give Arif the main chair. Now, what do you mean? What does he mean by that?
I don't know, Chairman. You tell me. What does he mean by that?
No, maybe you should tell us.
So that is a B-Tech image. I'm not going to start on this one. So yeah, welcome to Inspire Radio's listening in Luton. Hopefully we get a call from there soon.
Inshallah.
It's been a couple of years since one of your cousin called from Luton, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
He's not on the payroll anymore.
I have spoken to him as well, but you know, we might get a call coming in today or not.
Okay.
So what are we discussing today?
Today, we've got International Women Day.
Wow. What does that mean?
That's a good question. If you go on,
I would assume that it's something along
get closer to the mic.
I'm assuming it's something along the lines of just acknowledging women's contribution to sport in some aspect on this show anyway.
Yes.
That's what we would be doing today.
Yes. And on today, for regards to the women's T20 World Cup final.
Okay, congratulations to Australia, I believe.
Well done.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, if he told me 5 minutes ago that Australia won by quite a big margin.
85 runs
against India.
Yes.
So tell me something, Sadat. You have been following. You are our local cricket resident.
Yeah, just throw it up in the air.
Okay. What went wrong? I mean, you know, I believe India were going fantastically in this tournament.
Well, it's very much similar to Pakistan with Australia-wise. Like when Pakistan won the World Cup, they were absolutely poor. Australia lost the very first game to India.
Yeah.
In the T20. And then they were about 10 for 3 against Sri Lanka and pulled it back, I think, in the second game. They were coming favourites to be even knocked out. Now, Australia have won the T20 World Cup 4 times before this tournament, so now it's the 5th. So the only other team to win the T20 is, do you know?
Is it England?
England's once, and one more.
You said only, but...
The only other team other than... Oh, sorry. Ooh,
just my God.
Oh, sorry, yes, the younger...
question, isn't it?
Yes, you know.
You asked for a specific response, he gave you.
Okay. What are your
other 2 teams then?
The other 2 teams, West Indies?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
it.
2.
Fantastic.
Started in 2009, the T20 World Cup.
But how, you know, like in men's cricket, you'd have you build up like first class cricket until you get to you play your test match innings and whatnot as a country. How do they rank it for women? Is it the same process? Do they have the same ranking system? Do they play first class cricket over 5 days?
They do first class cricket. Not many teams are, to be honest, with the women involved. I mean, England obviously have theirs. India is quite popular. Pakistan come out. I don't know how much they've done in the test match, but they've got their team.
The one day.
The one dayers. But I mean,
do you think they have first class cricket in Pakistan for women's cricketers?
Well, they'll be lucky if they get from men's cricket at this stage, to be honest.
Well, currently at the moment, probably not, but generally.
I mean, just generally women, I was going to ask, I mean, if he told you 5 minutes before. But other than that, was there any really thing on the telly or any awareness about the world T20 cricket for women?
I think if you start gauging a sport off the back of TV coverage, it's very dependent on how big the pocket is. You only get very popular sports on TV, which are going to turn out money for the big corporations who want to make money. But if the real reflection of it is where the stands full. I didn't watch it. Maybe you can elaborate on that. But if the stands are full and people are coming out to watch it live, then I think it's
people.
There's people. I think we've had this discussion on women's sports, and you know, especially when it comes to salaries and stuff like this, and you know, it's not been.
Sorry, I was just smiling. I didn't mean to interrupt there. I just wish that only if he's in Women's Day makes sense. Clever thinking to bring you in. Sorry.
Yes.
We would have called you, but you were busy.
Okay. So I was just thinking. The problem with obviously the women's sports in general is the fact that they don't get the numbers. The viewers aren't as, you know, when it comes to especially, competing against some men's and like for like sports, you certainly don't get as many women tuning in, or as many fans tuning in to watch, a woman's sort of football game or a cricket game, and I think that's the difference. The money's there.
We've got the England playing today in Japan. I can't remember what cup it was called now, All Chiefs Cup or something like that. Shield Cup, I can't remember. Okay. Now, is that being televised? I don't know, and I really genuinely don't know.
Good point. I didn't.
Normally, the BBC give England quite good coverage.
They do normally give the women coverage.
You'd expect it to be somewhere in the middle of the night somewhere. Maybe
live.
I don't know what the hour.
Is it in Japan? They're playing in Japan, aren't they? Or?
They're playing against Japan. I don't know where it's playing. It could be in Japan. You could be right. I know they lost to USA in the first game. Currently, Spain, USA, England and Japan in that table. I don't know if it's just between them four, to be honest.
Okay.
So, like I say, if you say there's not a lot turned out, if we don't see more coverage, there won't be much interest, is it? Mm-hmm. Catch-22 we wait until it gets popular before we start showing it.
I think that's predominantly what's going to happen. Is if the women's games takes off, in whatever sport, and it gets to the level where it's competing with men, with the men's sports. Let's just say, argument's sake, football. Yeah, then they'll have to give them coverage. At this stage, I don't think they feel they can give as much coverage. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, again, it's just generation of money. Isn't it?
Yeah,
how much money the game will generate.
Absolutely, it's everything is to do about money.
Yeah,
and that's what the difference is, isn't it? I think if you chucked quite a bit of money into women's sport, which they have, especially England have. And you've started seeing results. You've started seeing, the county format for women as well take place.
The football one, Phil Neville being coach became quite popular.
Yeah,
it was a big step, wasn't it? As having an ex-professional footballer actually taking it on. And I don't know if there was much coverage before then, but it seemed to be a big hype at the time. And then there was the World Cup happening, and and there was a hype that actually England might win the World Cup, and there was a chance.
Well, they're within the top four in the world, isn't it? So they've probably got a better chance than the men's team currently.
So USA is the strongest, isn't it?
USA has always had a
football.
Very
they I think the US are sort of quite a bit ahead of the rest of the nations. I think because they play the sport as a professional. They're professional athletes in America, and I think that shows obviously when they're playing these major tournaments as well.
And then Brazil are not far behind.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Brazil.
Yeah, they've got some special players.
I thought it was USA and then Spain or someone. And then
I'm not sure about that. I know in the last Women's World Cup that I watched, they had a striker, Marta.
Okay.
Is that where Brazil you're talking
Brazilian,
about? Yeah.
And she's got like stupid amount of goals.
I think you've also got the American lady who's obviously retired now, I believe.
Oh, what was the name?
Is it
one batch?
Do you know what? I can't remember the name, but she obviously won, the Ballon d'Or as well, didn't she?
I think she won the Ballon d'Or, and yes, it was the Ballon d'Or. It's like the equivalent of the sports personality we do here. She did that in America as well.
Well, Issues put a question out there, right, on Facebook. Is it fair to say watching women's sport is watching a lower standard of sport? I'll leave that to you, Steve.
Wow, that's a good one, Sadat. I think. Don't you think you should answer that?
No,
I think it's probably safer.
No, I don't think so. I think.
I think you have to understand that there will be the gauge of level in both sports have to be separate.
Yeah,
you can't compare
but
one to the other.
The intensity of the game itself, you would say. So if the women's obviously England playing Japan or USA, the standard for that in that intensity will be the same.
I think
they both want to win. The competitiveness. It's no different between, for example, we say our under 11s where we watch them play football. They're not going to be at a high standard of football, but it's still the tension.
So if you're asking if there's drama attached to women's football, then yes, there is definitely. But if you're asking about, so his question specifically was.
But what is he? This lower standard?
Yeah, I think
to what?
It depends what you gauge.
Yeah, I think that question is
loaded.
Yeah, it's the wrong question to ask. I think more the question you should be asking is, look, physically there's a huge difference between men
reading all his messages. I'm not there.
Yeah, physically, I mean, it is a huge difference between male athletes and female athletes, and I think that's what issues trying to get to.
What about say Salaam Sports? Sorry, do we cover enough women's sports?
Yeah, I think we have. I think
we have, but in pockets.
Yeah, it's always going to be in pockets. Any sport we cover, we don't have enough time to cover all the major sports. So yeah, whenever we've talked about, the Australian cricket team just winning the World Cup. That we covered it as best as we could. Our viewers are going to understand that as well.
More importantly, like you normally see like Arif pull out a very obscure sport from somewhere. Like when I heard he was following tennis, I thought, I don't know, man.
Do you know what? I used to play a bit of tennis. I've always been a follower of Formula One. Yeah. Although I think the last 2 or 3 years, Formula One has the standards. The competition's actually changed. They've made it tougher for different teams, for all teams.
Okay, you brought it onto Formula One. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
FIA. What's happened since? Because I believe there's 7 of the teams have complained, have they not? At the 10.
Yeah, good point. I have not taken any further.
Harry.
Yeah.
Is the FIA and Ferrari?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I heard something on.
They did a
briefly.
report, didn't they? And they've not disclosed the report, and they've come to an agreement between Ferrari and the FIA privately. And previously, the other teams didn't really say anything.
Yeah, because
they was accuse Ferrari.
They couldn't outright accuse Ferrari of cheating.
So now 7 out of the 10. I don't know which 7 it is, and which 3 haven't. But basically said, well, can we see the report? We're not saying
that they did
cheated
anything.
or the cheated. Can you actually disclose the report and can you see it? And there was some report this week that they weren't going to disclose the report, and I don't know who the governing body above the FIA is, but they're saying that what they've done is fine. So they're sort of like trying.
So it's within the parameters of the rules. Whether or not we bend them a little bit is that's different. But
I was hoping Arif would know more and spend about.
No, I think there's not really much to add to that, is it? I mean, 7 of the obviously the bigger Formula One teams have addressed the situation, have made their feelings known. Whether if anything's going to happen on that.
But I'm sure Arif will keep us posted.
Keep us posted.
That's what I like about it. He knows his stuff.
Yeah. Staying on Formula One
stuff. Oh, go on.
The Bahrain Grand Prix is a participant-only Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're racing in the race, you can bring your team onto the racetrack and in the stands, whatever. But spectators are not.
Yeah, and we had this discussion before we went on air. I did have a little bit of a concern of the fact that Australian Grand Prix, they haven't done similar.
No precautions at the moment.
The Chinese Grand Prix has been postponed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And so the Bahrain's one's behind door. That's the one that Arif was going to get us tickets to. But unfortunately, obviously, he can't get us in.
Well, it's a bit difficult at the moment. I mean,
what about UEFA? They've talking about coronavirus and bans and stuff. They said no shaking hands with the officials. I don't know if that means players as well, but they said
I think that they've gone as far as the players as well.
Did the Premier League not do that? Then
but I watch it. See, that doesn't sit right with me.
No,
and it doesn't sit right with me because it's a contact sport.
Exactly.
So either you're going to play it in a bubble when you play, what do you call it?
Zorb I've seen that.
Either we start playing Zorb football.
No, I think sometimes somebody made a comment on another radio show earlier on today, and the discussion was that, look, okay, you're going to ban the fans from coming to the matches, you're going to ban the handshakes. But when footballers, and if you, as a footballer, I know you understand.
Let's use that term loosely.
Okay.
When said to you, what about me?
No, I was talking to Ifi. So when we're playing football outside, and it's adrenaline's flowing, you're sweating. Footballers have a tendency to spit.
Yeah.
The ball. There's a potential, and a serious potential that the ball's on the grass and. Spit can come on. You're gonna get issues where saliva is is transformed or touched in one way or another. So
it's happening everywhere, isn't it? Tennis players have been told not to throw their sweatbands or armbands out
Yeah.
to the fans that they normally do, and things like that. But it's a bit of a concern, a bit worrying.
I don't know. I'm not. If we're talking about Corona specifically, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon just yet.
I
I
think
think it's the flu, mate.
You've got a cold.
And we'll be alright. Yeah, just
Strong
isolate
flu.
14 days as you're prescribed by the 111 headline that I called earlier, and then just see how it goes.
just want to welcome Ishfaq Ali for watching it, Muhammad Amjad as well, Hanka Hani is watching as well.
And Showkat Ali as well. Oh my God. So see, I knew bringing Iffy in or bringing the numbers.
Oh, I'm trying it, man. I'm trying. Money makers out.
Abid Hussein Al Jurui is watching the show as well. We want people to interact with us. So if you've got any comments, please ring in and call in to us.
Yeah, or on Facebook. Because if you call in, I have to press some buttons, and
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what buttons to press just yet. Yeah, I'm new to this. Iffy, so first day on the show.
Go on, mate.
What is your sport other than football? Now, don't talk about football. I mean, you're a big lad. You look like a boxer, wrestler.
No. If you're saying what I participate in, it's probably a bit of snooker.
Oh, snooker.
You don't have to run too much, you see. Trying to cut down the steps, but no. So I followed a little story on snooker today.
Oh,
Judd
yeah,
Trump has matched. Yeah, Judd Trump.
Yeah.
He's matched the record for the most ranking titles held in one season, which is 5.
Wow.
So he's
So
up
what's
there
that
with the
mean?
likes of the Hendrys and
Yeah, definitely.
Steve Davises.
So the most, what is that? Sorry, the most?
So they have ranking titles. So
Yeah.
sometimes they just have a competition,
Yeah.
but it doesn't affect your rankings in the world. Yeah,
Right.
and then they'll have like senior competition, let's just say, and he's won 5 out of the whole season. I'm not sure how many have happened in the season, but he's won 5 of them, which is the most any player at any one point has held.
Is he number one then at the moment?
He's world number one.
Currently?
He's been world number one for about 18 months. So he's doing it. He's comfortably in the top 16 since he's broke.
So who's
into
the
scene.
closest to him there after him?
Oh, that's a good question. You should probably check that out.
It's a loaded question, so that.
He was just checking my knowledge there. First in the job, mate.
What about cricket? Have you been watching PSL?
I don't do cricket. That's you,
I
mate.
don't do cricket.
Can't
I
step on
was
your
watching the
toes.
game. Islamabad versus Multan Sultan today.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It was reduced to 9 overs. So it's a T20 tournament. And Islamabad came out. They got the 90 in the 9 overs, so 10 runs. And Quetta got it in 7 overs.
Wow.
Smashed it. The English.
So did any of the rules change for that? Do they any specific batsman? How many overs are bowled? I think it's a little bit
overs per bowler will
Yeah.
change. Obviously, I don't know how much it is. Maybe 2 overs per bowler or something like that.
Yeah, I think if the normal format
But it's the
10,
same.
you get,
It's going to be the same for both
20.
players.
Yeah.
Sorry, for both teams. And James Vince, the reason I particularly picked this game because it was an England player. He just smashed 60 off 20 balls, and he was just, and he's not making it into the England team or anything like that. But he was absolutely brilliant. And then it was just, I just can't surprise you're not hooked onto this PSL thing.
And who are you supporting at the moment?
Mine's Karachi Kings.
Which one was mine? I can't remember now.
You went with Lahore, I believe.
No, it wasn't Lahore.
Well, hang on. You just said you didn't remember.
I
What
don't.
were you doing, pulling them out of a hat?
I don't remember. I don't remember. It was Lahore. I think it was.
Islamabad.
It was a name. They got that. They said
Multan Sultan.
Multan Sultan.
Is it because they're number 1 at the moment?
Nah, not because they're number 1. It's just I like
They're
them.
on the top of the table. Who were lucky actually against Karachi Kings because rain helped them. Otherwise, they had gone completely.
So they used the Duckworth-Lewis as well in that instance, I'm assuming?
There wasn't enough overs bowled to have a Duckworth-Lewis match. Well, no, sorry, because it was first innings, so it got rained off. So they didn't come back to Karachi Kings. I think we needed to bat yet.
Oh, so they'd batted 9 overs of their 20, and it rained off.
Yeah, so
And
this
then
is
you just
between,
came
just
and
was during
batted
the week. Yeah, about Multan Sultan because they're I'd say the top 2 at the moment. Karachi Kings got 2 games in hand. So if they win those games, they'll be above.
What was the gap
Sultan.
between the 2 innings?
What was the gap?
Yeah,
in the
so like
sense?
normally it's 2 hours or 4 hours, whatever you wait.
Oh right, okay.
You're saying this is like days, right? Is that what you're implying?
No. So between one batting team and the other team, only 10 minutes to change over.
It's just change over. Yeah.
I mean, so they played 9 overs, never came back,
Yeah,
and then came back and batted another 9.
No. So this is another game altogether. Today's game,
Right.
Yeah,
So they just
just because he was Multan Stan and Karachi Kings, and then Karachi Kings and go against Multan Stan, I think on Thursday it was or Friday, and that was a clash of the top, shall we say? Because if Karachi Kings had won that game, they would have got the same points as Multan Stan and would have still had a game in hand. And it looked like they were going to win because the Multan Stan were on the ropes, as they say, and then it got rained off, and they were lucky. But then they came back today.
What sort of prize money are we talking about this, and what are the players getting paid? Because the IPL is obviously, the most lucrative.
I'll look into that, Arif, how much they get paid. But I know they do a garora catch. So if the fans catch the ball, it doesn't have to be one-handed. They get a share of a garor. So depending how many fans catch it, how many sixes there are, and if they catch it or don't catch it.
Garor rupiah a catch.
No, it gets splits. So
say is it across the tournament?
Across the tournament, yeah.
Right. Across the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
So then they, I suppose they give their details and say, right, you'll take a share in the garor. I mean, how much is a garor converted again into pounds roughly? Is it 100,000?
Yeah, garor is 100,000.
Yeah.
So it's 50,000.
So and there's been 256s. You don't expect everyone to be catched. So say even if 50% of that.
Yeah.
So you're looking at what, £1,000 each.
Not bad.
Potentially. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. And today, in mark of going back to the International Women's Day, the PSL, they gave them a discount. I believe a 70% discount to enter into and watch the match.
All females.
Yeah.
All females, yeah.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the way you should entice, a crowd in. Sometimes. So I think they're making a difference.
Did you see what happened with Tottenham player? What was his name? Who walked into the stands?
Dyer. Eric Dyer.
I thought we're saving that for the second half of the show. So that.
Yeah, well, this is a football thing, but reaction-wise, is it fair for linking it to, for example, brother Habib, who jumped out after his reaction because he was.
I think that was
a build-up.
That was a little bit different. The circumstances around that is different to.
Should sports people react like that?
So I think in Habib's situation, you've got to understand that he didn't jump into the crowd; he jumped into the opposition camp.
Right.
It's not necessarily I'm jumping into random children, women, men that will come to watch me fight. That's not the case.
Yeah, I think his issue was obviously what they'd been saying prior.
Right, yeah.
And I think with this issue, it shouldn't have happened. As a professional, you've got to keep calm at all times. And
Sorry?
Sorry, let me
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Say that again, Aaron.
I'm not a professional footballer, though, am I? I'm a park footballer.
So, what actually happened? Do you know the incident that occurred?
Yeah, I think what it was, his brother, Eric Dyer's brother, was having a discussion or an argument with another fan, and it got quite heated. And Eric Dyer.
It was about 20 rows up, wasn't it?
He climbed up.
Yeah.
How did he know he was arguing with his brother?
Yeah,
20 rows up?
that's a good point. I don't know the ins and outs.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether or not it's your brother or you can't climb up.
He was backed by Mourinho, though.
Yeah,
I think Mourinho's infamous for that.
Very, very clever.
He is infamous. He backs them regardless, and what he does is he keeps the dressing room on his side. I don't know if any of you. I was going to save it for the second half of the show, but now that we're here,
go on.
And the comments he made about Ndombele.
I was going to save that as well for the second.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know. I've not come across the comments he's made.
But then you say he's infamous for backing his players, but is he not infamous to just pick one out as well and just
exactly
hang them out to dry?
And it feels like he's about to hang some people.
Yeah,
because it's not going the way he wants.
Yeah.
But moving back to the UFC, because we're going to save the football towards the back end of the show,
go on.
as you normally do.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch it because obviously we understand that it's like 5 o'clock in the morning when the fights kick off. But
I hope you're not up in the morning because we've got a match in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah. Idris Adesanya fought Romeo yesterday.
Okay.
Idris
Adesanya, they call him Stylebender.
Okay.
So this guy.
Quickly, we've got 30 seconds.
Sorry, they call him the Stylebender because of the way he fights. But yesterday wasn't the case. Yeah, yesterday he got caught in the first round with the overhand right. And all of a sudden he took a step back and he thought, I've got 5 rounds of this. I don't fancy it. But basically what happened is the fight went through. There was fighting at range. After the fight, the whole stadium went up in boos.
Wow. Okay, we'll pick this up after the break. Got a break, inshallah. Join us back after the break We'll be talking about football and other sports.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
अगर मूड हो मुस्तनद और मायारी देसी खाने का तो आजमाएं लिंकन रोड पर देसी रेस्टोरेंट। दिन का आगाज देसी नाश्ते के साथ हलवा पूरी, चने, निहारी, पाए, पराठा और आमलेट हर रोज सुबह 7 बजे से दिन 1 बजे तक। एक मजेदार और स्वादिष्ट लंच के लिए कबाब, सैंडविच, तंदूरी डिशेस, बल्ती डिशेस, बिरयानी और बहुत कुछ। दिन 1 बजे से शाम 5 बजे तक हमारी खास डिशेस, देसी तवा या हमारी ताज़ा हांडी, 1 kg बेबी चिकन, लैम का गोश्त हड्डी के साथ। ऑर्डर पर तैयार कराएं। ईट इनसाइड, टेक वे के लिए फ्री डिलीवरी। पूरा मेन्यू देखने के लिए और ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करने के लिए हमारी वेबसाइट पे जाएं desirestaurant.co.uk। 60 नशिस्तों की गुंजाइश के साथ और एक प्राइवेट फंक्शन रूम, कैटरिंग सर्विस भी दस्तयाब। डोंट फॉरगेट देसी रेस्टोरेंट, 298 लिंकन रोड, पीटरब्रो, PE1 2ND। कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर 555795।
Are you looking to kickstart a career in health and social care? If you're over the age of 18 and currently in receipt of an in or out of work benefit, the Health and Care Sector Work Academy is offering you the chance to gain a qualification for free. There's plenty of support available as we can cover childcare and travel costs, and mentoring after the course has finished to help you into employment or further learning. Get in touch with us on 0800 310 1160 to join one of our courses and learn more about what we have to offer. Peterborough has a fresh new restaurant. Big Mouth on Lincoln Road is now open. Fantastic fresh food, pizzas, gourmet burgers, fried chicken, grilled chicken, wraps and sides. Mouth-watering food at great prices. Come and experience the freshness and taste of our amazing food. On a lunch break, try our Big Mouth lunch special menu from 12 to 4. Fancy our Hot Mouth Big Burger or our Big Mouth special pizza? Try us and taste the difference. Eat in, take away or order online at getbigmouth.co.uk for delivery with Just Eat and Deliveroo. We cater for birthday parties, family bookings and events. Follow Big Mouth Lads on Facebook and Instagram. Big Mouth, 349 Lincoln Road, Peterborough, PE1 2PF. Call 01733 20 10 20. We're open 12 till late every day.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Shabina here. Has your child had their flu vaccination this year? All primary school-aged children are entitled to the flu vaccine in their schools, helping to protect you and all the family against flu, which can make vulnerable people very ill. Call the school immunisations team on 0300 555 5055 if you'd like your child to get protected.
Ali is one of those children who, with your assistance, has the honour of being a Hafiz. And that too from only £29 per month. Help UKIM by sponsoring a Hafiz and get rewarded by up to 70 times blessings this Ramadan. For donations, call now or visit ukim.org.
I will soak it in.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio, broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Welcome back to Salaam Sports for the second half of the show, and still with me is Iffy. Thank you for staying, and brother Arif. Right, okay, football is what we normally talk about, but do you want to finish off what you were talking about with the UFC?
So yeah, it was just quite surprising to see somebody who's infamous for his fighting style step away, really. Up until the fifth round.
What was it you said?
It wasn't starfish, stylebender.
Stylebender.
It was Idris Adesanya. But it was quite surprising, and it's quite refreshing for the sport, though. Like
so what did he do? He bottled out, did he? Or
so the crowd said he bottled out. Now, me personally, I think that's a smart move. Like if you get caught, you fight at distance, and you win on points.
Yeah.
No brainer.
Who won at the end?
Nobody likes getting punched in the face. Yeah, he won.
What's the booing about then?
The booing was about the
Is
fact
it different
that
between like Joshua? He came back, he didn't go out early, changed his tactics, and he won.
I think the fans for UFC are very similar to the fans of boxing. You'll have some people who appreciate the defensive fighters, like the Mayweathers, the Anthony Joshua's last fight against Ruiz.
He wasn't booed.
He wasn't booed, no, but he was praised for having a game plan.
Yeah.
Whereas UFC, the majority of their fans are just there for a brawl. You've got to understand the sport. There's no. I wouldn't say there's no class, but I'll just say it's just a brutal sport, isn't it?
Oh.
And people, brutality.
It is a very brutal sport, isn't it? And I think people will do whatever it takes to win. Though, would you agree with that? Or
oh, it's Israel, not Idris. Sorry, my bad. Ishfaq Quraish there.
Ishfaq, man.
He's on it.
He's on it, man. What's going on today? Okay, we've got quite a few viewers watching. I've got Bernard, who's watching, an old friend of mine. He's a Chelsea fan.
Good news for Chelsea. So
he's not been happy recently.
Well, he's cheered up today.
It looks like they're turning the corner. I think that fifth spot, it's going to be very, very interesting. You know, you've seen the likes of Everton, who actually, who look like they're going to drop points. You've got Wolves in there, who are in the mix. You've got United now. You know, a very, very big game today coming up for them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the right time for United to play City. You know, when they get the points.
I think over the last 3 seasons, there's never been a good time to play City. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
As much as it pains me to say
saying that, I've said it before. Solskjaer or United, shall we say, seem to play better against the top teams than they do against the not so top teams, shall we say, without mentioning names and bringing them down. But Arif, you're happy? Liverpool.
I didn't get the chance to watch the game. I watched bits of it. I was at a wedding yesterday.
This is typical, isn't it? Liverpool started to win, and all of a sudden, Liverpool fans don't want to watch the matches either.
There's
no point watching, yard. We're going to win anyway.
No, I was
thought about Watford.
I was at a wedding actually this week, so unfortunately, I couldn't make it.
How many weddings do you go to?
Yeah. Congratulations to a friend of mine. Had an excellent wedding yesterday, and I won't name names.
Oh, congratulations to your friend.
Yeah, congratulations to your one friend that got
Faz Suleiman.
Name dropping. Yeah. But no, going back to Chelsea quickly. When we started the show, it was 2-0 at the time, but it looks like it's finished at 4-0.
Wow,
really?
Ancelotti hasn't had fun back at the bridge.
Yeah, and
that's a big result considering how Everton have been playing recently.
That's an excellent result.
Now they're 76 minutes in, so it could get worse or it could get better.
I don't think it can get much better. I mean,
Chelsea,
the loss is lost.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They've been struggling at home. Or is it the away form's been much better than the home form.
Yeah, I believe so. I think the game I saw them play against Liverpool, they dominated that game, and I felt that Chelsea. They're turning the corner. I think they're just getting on the track, on the right track, at the right time. Basically, I think, like I explained earlier on, it's going to make it pretty tough for that 4th spot. You've got Wolves in there, you've got Sheffield United in there. What's your thoughts?
I think Chelsea got the points on the board, didn't it? So it's good to have the points on the board, and I can see all of them losing games coming up to the end of the season, and so therefore, for me, favourites will be Chelsea. Top 4.
If you're sitting in the top 4, they were 3 points clear at the time. They're now 6 points clear of United specifically.
We've got to play City.
5 points clear of the rest.
Yeah.
I would say that is more or less done. So we've got 9 games left? 10 games left?
I think it's 10. Yeah, 10 for United, isn't it?
And how many games do Liverpool need to win now? Just another 3 games?
Liverpool need to win just another 3 games. Yeah, I think. That's a done deal, isn't it?
Oh my God! First time you've said that.
No, I didn't. I said it from the beginning. I said Liverpool were going to win the league this year.
I wouldn't say beginning. I would say maybe 10 games.
Maybe you did, but to be honest, you say every year. This year is our year. Let's be honest. For the past 30 years, I've been told.
I tell you what, the difference between Liverpool fans in.
Oh, we've got a phone call. Hold on. We've got a phone call. Look at this. Now I'm gonna have to. It's my techniques here. Watch me press the right buttons. Look at that, without even moving my hands. Hello, welcome. You're on Salaam Sports Live. Please do not swear.
I won't. It's Bidan.
Oh, Bidan! How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Is Imtihan not in the...
Imtihan is testing us all, my brother. He's not in.
He's not here.
No, all but right. We had a couple of your friends call. There was Raj the week before and Ibrahim. They all seem to speak very highly of you.
To be honest with you, I was saying to Image before that they called a lot of things right. So he was talking so Raj was talking about, first of all, the Saudi interest in Manchester United, and as soon as he said that, the next few days, the Saudi interest sort of the stories came back, and also he started to sow the seeds of potentially Firmino being ousted at Liverpool. Ooh. And yesterday, Firmino, like all the Liverpool fans, were on his back saying he needed to be replaced. And then with Ibrahim, he started to sow the seeds of Harry Kane leaving Tottenham, and then there were stories in the press about that. So these are smart guys. They've obviously got inside info.
The stories on Kane, were they? He's looking to go to United, because I think that there's a rumor.
We've got Igualo. We don't need to say.
There's a strong rumor that he's now open to a move to United.
I mean, well, the thing is that would he go to United, in the sense that I think that United are a team in transition, and they're not guaranteed to be fighting for the title. And the only reason he would go to United is that, for the money, essentially. I don't think
Kane. Go to United.
With regards to United, look, Kane is a brilliant player, and we do need that kind of out-and-out number 9. I mean, Martial is kind of a player.
But United, sorry, Bidan, but United have a history of attracting big players, regardless if they're in or out of the Champions League. I mean,
yeah,
Di Maria, for example, came to United.
They've always paid over the odds, haven't they?
No. I think this is the bigger club, isn't it?
Di Maria was on £350,000 a week, or somewhere around that. You've got Sanchez.
The problem with Kane, though, is that it's going to take so much money, because the TV money is so much nowadays that no Premier League club has to sell players to stay afloat.
Okay,
really.
So you're looking. Just going to stop you there for a second. You're looking at £140 million, probably, I'd say, for somebody for Kane. Do you think he's worth it? In the current market.
Not 140. I don't know where you got that figure from.
I just plucked that out of the air, but it's going to be a lot of money, isn't it?
Plucking that out of the air, right? Then, for me, it's who are we looking at? Where else are we looking to strengthen? So, for me, we need a Sancho more than we need a Kane, to be honest with you, because we just have nothing on our right-hand side. I mean, Daniel James, bless him, he's done a great job, and he's done everything and more that's been asked of him. But he is a kid that was signed from the Championship. He's not like top draw player.
Maybe you need to give him a bit of time. I mean.
Yes, I agree. But he's played literally. He must have played in 90% to 95% of our games.
Yeah.
Which is not what was meant to be asked of him. He was meant to be like a bit of a squad player. So I'm definitely up for giving giving Daniel James more time. But I think that if we were to sign a Sancho, then that front three of Rashford, Sancho, Martial would be, that would just live with anyone. Yeah. And I think that although I think Martial is massively inconsistent, and if a big offer came in for Martial, I would consider selling him, provided he was replaced. But obviously Kane's better than Martial, and if you can get both Sancho and Kane, I'll be absolutely over the moon. But you're getting into like FIFA Ultimate Team territory there. I don't think
but do you think Sancho would actually come to United?
Well, this is why I was ringing. So yesterday on Instagram, he put out this really weird video of him. It's a screen recording of him looking at rumours. Like there's this one transfer website. It just like had a load of rumours up there, and one of the rumours was Sancho to Manchester United, and he ended up sort of liking the post, and he took a screen recording of him and put that screen recording to Instagram. So it's like, that's a very weird thing to do if you're not trying to, at least start to stoke the fires there. So maybe
there's got to be something in there, and that's the reason people put stuff on social media to obviously get noticed.
Maybe
exactly. I mean, like you don't do that kind of thing like without reason, if you get what I mean. Because if let's say you've got no intention of moving, why would you sort of start to, like I said, stoke the fires there.
Yeah, do you think there's something a little bit different in terms of he's obviously put something on there under a Manchester United banner. Do you think he's trying to get a transfer to another club? He's trying to get other clubs interested in him?
I don't know. Potentially. I mean, look, there's the only other club that he's been interested that have looked at him is Chelsea, I think, though there were rumours that Real Madrid were looking at him as well. But if I was him, like, a move to United does make sense because he could that is the one area where we've not really bought anybody, and I think that he is somebody who could come in and like revolutionise us, to be honest with you. And I think that, it looks like Pogba's going to go anyway.
Where is he?
They've not really missed him, have they? They have missed him.
Look, put it this way. A lot of United fans are saying that we shouldn't play Pogba, just like let him use us to get himself fit for Euro 2020, and then he leaves. I mean, him on the pitch is better than him off the pitch, I think. And I think that although Fred has done well and McTominay has done well, I think Pogba's superior to those two players. And if we're going to go for the top four, we need to have the strongest team available. So I would play Pogba, provided he's got the fitness in April and in May. And if he can get us over the line, then he can leave with our blessing. But, I mean, it's interesting. Like, one player that I do like, that I would take in part, obviously a lot, because I'm not sure Real Madrid can pay the amount of money or are willing to pay the amount of money that Pogba, the fee that he would command.
Yeah, because
I would take a couple of players from Real Madrid, and the two players I would take is Toni Kroos and also James Rodriguez, because James Rodriguez, I think I know he's not the player he once was, but he can play off the right. And he's a number 10 as well. He's creative and he can put a decent ball into the box. So I think that's potential there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bidan says he's been pulling it all out. He's got the Leicester of it right. He's got the Atletico Madrid knocking out Liverpool in the Champions League right. Everything.
Oh wow! Yeah, I mean, look, if that comes off, oh my God, I'm going to get my. Obviously, between me, Raj, and Ibrahim, we've got between us a lot of
knowledge,
things, right?
It's three people. Normally three seats here on this radio show. We'll give it to you.
You made an interesting point about Firmino a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise what all the fuss was over the last sort of, obviously Liverpool are winning, so you don't see players who aren't contributing as much as they should to the team. And I've read a stat this morning. I think, is it the last 18 games or he hasn't scored in Liverpool home games at Anfield.
Anfield, yeah.
And he's had a few chances in those games as well. So some of the sitters misses.
I do think a lot of Liverpool fans do a lot of mental gymnastics to justify Firmino as a good player. Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, there was a lot of these kind of treatment essays written by Liverpool fans saying, like, someone called him a defensive striker. I mean, what is a defensive striker?
Okay.
I mean, can you imagine saying that to Roy Keane? Roy Keane would just be like, look, a striker scores goals, that's it, full stop.
No,
I think that, go on, sorry.
Yeah, where I think Liverpool have benefited from, even though he doesn't score, is the fact that his overall game, his overall work he does within for Liverpool. So I think, as a Liverpool fan and, as somebody from the public, I just assume, my assumption is that with him, it's more his overall game, what he gives it, rather than scoring goals.
So do you think it's more about what he provides to the system?
Yeah, and
anyone can do that.
And then that system, even though he hasn't scored, that system has worked. And last couple of, they haven't done a great job, but they're still there. They're still going to win the league.
Are missing Henderson. Like, Henderson, he just seems to be, again, like, he was a player who's kind of, I think it's now widely acknowledged that even though he might not be the greatest player technically, I definitely wouldn't play him I try and avoid playing him for England, but I think that he's, obviously missing him, then that's when the downturn in his form came, really.
Really? So. Liverpool missing Henderson?
Yeah,
100%. I mean, you must agree with that.
Yeah,
Fred could do a job there better than Henderson.
But I think you've got to look at the intensity that they play at, and then the amount of games that they're having to play this season. Coming towards the back end of the season, you're going to see those levels drop. It's just
and I agree with Ishfaq Ali. I think the Liverpool system with Firmino in he's the perfect striker for the way they play their football. And I think with Liverpool, we obviously know it's the full backs that actually create the chances or create the panic in the team, and therefore the forwards and the midfielders get those opportunities.
Well, yeah, I think so. But I mean, look, I don't. I mean, I've seen a fair bit of Liverpool, but I don't have the forensic knowledge that potentially a Liverpool fan would have. But just for me, I think that obviously he does press, and he kind of comes in. He comes in deep, but I just think a striker needs to score goals, basically. But I don't know. We just have to be like when he's out the team, you don't seem to miss him that much. I think that Origi comes in and does a good job. But I think Liverpool.
With Origi, I think it's hit and miss, and I think they do need another striker, and sometimes they do. They play those three up front, and sometimes it would be worth changing the team. But look, if it's working, why change it?
Look, I think that comment says it all. A striker needs to score goals.
Not necessarily. I think, look,
the reason you were replaced by
what was it? A few years ago, we used to talk about strikers not working hard enough. But look, if you're scoring 30 goals a season or 25 goals a season, and you don't run back 50 yards to mark the guy, are you a bad striker?
No, he's scoring goals.
So, some people turn around and say, the best strikers are the ones that will work for their team and defend and score goals.
One thing I will say is that Martial does not press from the front at all, and it allows the opposition to play out. And when he doesn't play up front, and we've got somebody pressing, even when Lingard presses up front, and let's say he's filling in for Martial, you do notice that the other team start to make mistakes. So from that perspective, I do understand that. Firmino, he's disciplined. He does, like you say, he fits the system. But Liverpool have had a fantastic season, but there are definitely areas where that team can be improved. I think if you sign a midfielder, a good creative midfielder, that can be that can improve. I think that although Fabinho's been okay this season, I think you can improve on players like Keita and Fabinho and Wijnaldum as well. I think those can be improved upon. But then again, we've obviously talked about Timo Werner. I think it was Raj from Wolverhampton mentioned him. I think he would be a fantastic addition to Liverpool, and I think he would scored upwards of 20 plus goals, really. So you've got almost 60 goals across your front line, which is
so your next prediction
scary.
has been is Sancho to United. That's it, yeah? That we can talk about, like all the other predictions you've got.
Put it so, that will be the transfer saga of the summer. So ask me on 31st of August at 11 o'clock.
Put that in your diary. 31st of August.
Knowing Woodward, that's, here's how Woodward works. Transfer window opens, he goes in for a player, they'll be like, right, it's 140 million, please. He goes, right, how's about 110? Say, no, 140. Then it goes on, and then at the last minute, when a season's already a month of the season's already elapsed, and we've already lost ground, he goes, okay, I'll pay the 140 million, and then it's kind of time down the drain, really. So, but that will be the saga that will run, I think.
Right, we'll pencil that in. We'll call you back, or actually, we'll expect you to call us in.
Yeah,
and then we'll
speak to you next week, innit?
Yes, speak to you next week. Bidan, if Raj is not available or Ibrahim's not available, or anybody else.
Raj, Ibrahim might. I've got a Scouse friend as well. He's quite.
I bet you are.
He's got the inside info.
No, we haven't got any translators. I don't know if we can accept that.
Yeah. we'll look forward to hearing from him then.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for your call, Bidan. Cheers.
Bye.
Okay.
Go on,
Ibi Ali makes a very, very good comment. He said, just reading back, Sadat, France won the World Cup with a striker who was playing to link the player. Do you agree with that? Bearing in mind...
Who was that player?
It was Giroud. And Giroud didn't actually have a shot on goal, yet he's the world champion. So...
Yeah, and where is he now?
It doesn't
Chelsea
matter.
gets play- he gets play on the bench.
Sadat, he's a World Cup winner. They won the World Cup with him.
It's a
That's
tournament
the
that
point.
Portugal won the Euros, isn't it? And they didn't actually play brilliant either.
Well, they played the BTEC striker and they won the Euros.
Yeah.
Mm.
So a tournament is different about as a player, as a team.
Saying that, I think going back 10, 15 years, you needed a striker who got you 20, 30 goals. That was the formula to win your league, whatever, with the World Cup, whatever you want. But I think the way football developed since then,
you want everybody to pitch in.
No, what I see Liverpool doing is loading the box up with strikers. See what I'm saying? Because their creativity is coming out from out wide and not down the middle. They get everyone central, so they get 3 strikers plus a number 10, let's just say, 4 people in the box when the ball's crossed in, plus your winger or your fullback on the other side who's coming in. So they've got 5 people potentially in the box,
and you
that creates a panic, and then you get goals.
So then they won't miss Firmino then if he goes put Giroud in there.
So going back to Firmino, I don't think any of that abuse that he might be getting that bid down was relating to was required. Like it's not needed. Because if your team's still performing, it doesn't matter. You don't change a winning team.
We all know fans can get a little bit upset. We've seen that with all fans, not just Liverpool fans, and I think fans are very quick to get on players' backs as well. And Ibi makes a good point. Another very good point. Firmino is massively underrated. He orchestrates the press for the whole team, and in the Champions League in the last 3 seasons, only Messi and Ronaldo have more goals involvement than him. Very, very good point.
Yeah, but not only involvement, they've had more goals. Ronaldo and Messi.
So I think if he's got a point that he is underrated, but then putting him in that bracket is just off the table. I'm not having that, mate.
How can you?
You can't put Firmino with Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
The stats are there. The stats prove he's up there with those 2 guys.
That he's involved with goals. Now give me his goal stats.
That's exactly.
Give me his goal stats.
No, that's the point he's making.
I'm not bashing a Liverpool player. I've just said
the goalkeeper could be involved with more goals as well with the pass outs, but that's not going to.
I'm not bashing him, Arif. It's not what you think it is.
No. I don't disagree with what you're saying. All I'm saying that the point that Ibi was making, he wasn't talking about how many goals, because obviously he can't compete with the goals that Ronaldo and Messi have scored.
Yeah, not in the same bracket.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't talk about it.
I think he's just cleared himself up and he said, "I'm not comparing."
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
Thank you. That's fine.
That's right. Stop defending him now.
He's a defensive striker as well.
He's like, thank you, me.
Listen, I'm definitely a defensive striker.
But just moving on, what do you think? What do you think's going on with Mourinho? Where do we think?
Yeah, we were saying that before the break, weren't we? He's picking his player.
Do you know? I read a really, really good article last week, and I actually, take a lot of stuff out of that. What they're saying about Mourinho is the fact that Mourinho went to United, he wasn't happy with certain things. The hierarchy of United didn't, allow him to bring some players in. With Tottenham, he's told them, especially coming back to this week's game, he said, look, what do you want me to concentrate on? Do you want me to concentrate on the Champions League, or do you want me to concentrate on the Premier League this week? He said, my squad is not big enough. I've got players missing through injury. He's being honest out there.
Yeah, but with respect, and Pochettino before Mourinho, the person that they sacked, had the same squad, if not less. The only team who didn't bring a player in.
And where is Pochettino now? And what did Pochettino win?
So what was the difference between Pochettino and Mourinho?
He's actually
for Tottenham fans. Are they getting anything
He's
better?
actually crying out for players.
As was Pochettino.
Pochettino,
because they spent so much money on the stadium.
Pochettino in the last 2 windows he did not buy any players. Okay.
Yeah, did he not buy Ndombele before he left?
Yeah,
we're talking about 3 windows in
he's a world record signing for Tottenham, isn't he?
Yeah, 53 million.
That was the window before that. The previous 2 windows, they didn't sign. Look, for a club that's going for Champions League, for a club that's going to trying to win the league, okay, you have to strengthen.
You would thought he had sorted all this out before the contract, though, innit, Mourinho? Are you going to let me buy players or you not?
But I think when you're out of work.
Oh, Mourinho has got enough money.
Look, Mourinho,
but if he's still being involved.
He was a pundit on one of the tellies.
And let's be honest, if you look at the pundits that are on TV, I know we might be pundits here, but if you look at pundits on TV, they're not cut out for being managers.
No,
a lot of them are not.
Absolutely,
and the ones who are, they come in for a week and they're off again.
Where you're the best manager I've ever seen.
That's not. I listened to this show, and I know you had a pop at me, but we won't bring that up here.
We'll bring that up next week. Thank you very much for listening. Inshallah, we will all three be back next week. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you very much, brothers. Allah Hafiz.
You're listening to Salaam Radio and its